Good day, everyone. I'm your host, James Hicks from Hicks New Media. Welcome to Perspective in Focus, where we highlight the people, the industries, and the ideas and the tech that are making positive strides within society. Today's guest, very special guest. Today's guest, Sylvia Nixon. She's an entrepreneur. She's the co-owner and CEO of merchandising and branding company Press and Sew. She's a motivational leader, and in her spare time, she's an author. This month, we're going to focus on women's history and women contributions to society overall. Today, I and you in the audience are going to get a chance to ask questions, and we're going to, spend some time together, really celebrating having women out front, women leading, and women being in charge. With that, I'm not going to waste any more time, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Sylvia Nixon. Sylvia, how you doing now?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mr.
Come
Hicks.
on now.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be on your wonderful, wonderful show.
Thank you very much for taking the time, and I want to be cognizant of the time and respectful of that because I want to get right into it. I want to, as I always like to say, I want to say, let's go ahead and get focused, right? Let's go
Yes,
ahead and get
come on.
into it. Um, yeah, I see the mannequin back there rocking some gear. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Look, I can give a monologue and I can say quickly, briefly who you are and what it is that you do, but it's better coming from you yourself. So tell my audience, my community, kind of your origin story and who Sylvia Nixon is, if you don't mind.
Awesome. Well, again, good evening to everyone. And, I'm so honored to be on the show with Mr. Hicks. I admire him, look up to him, and just so thankful for this opportunity. My name is Sylvia Nixon. For those that don't know me, for those that do know me, hello to you. I am a leader, most of all, a child of God, most of all, a wife, a mommy, amazing daughter, and owner of Press and Sew, and also an author. So I love people. I love to pour into people. I love to encourage and motivate people. So that is my assignment here on Earth, and so I'm very sure about that, and that's my focus.
Wow. So you took it to a whole nother level right there when you said this is my assignment. Huh?
Yes,
Come on now. This is my
come
assignment
on,
while
Mr.
I'm
Hicks.
we gonna go down that path. We can go ahead and do it. But really, that's the level of the conversation that I want to have, right? And again, I want to keep it centered around women leading, women out front, kind of like I was saying. And you are definitely doing that. Look, I know I spend 23 of 24 hours up doing things, but how do you do
You
that?
don't sleep.
And that's why other show is called Team No Sleep because your boy is always up and at it. See, come on
Always
now,
up.
come on now. How do you do that? I mean, just in terms of, and again, looking at best practices, some ideas for other folks who are wanting to be entrepreneurs that have busy lives as well, family, relationship, and things of that nature. What gets you up in the morning? What time do you get up in the morning? What time do you go to sleep? You don't have to get too personal, but again, that driving factor that keeps Sylvia Nixon moving throughout those 24 hours of the day.
Yeah, I get up very early because it is necessary. And one of the reasons why I get up early is because I have to fill up, and that's one of the things
Mm,
that those that are part of my community, I talk about it all the time. And those that are listening to me for the first time, the reason why you want to get up is because you want, I know already that my day is going to be full. Period. Like I go to bed already knowing that, and I wake up already knowing that. And one of the things that I've learned, and this is from trial, is from error, is from failure, is that I personally I have to make it my duty and importance in my life to wake up early and fill up. And everybody's fill up is different. My fill up is a time of prayer. Um, focusing on, the word of God, and also just meditating, listening to music. A lot of times I listen to motivational speeches,
Mm.
and just, it's just my time to really fill up my cup. And I do that because I don't know what the day is going to bring.
Right.
And so, because we don't know what the day is going to bring, it could, if we're not full and if we're not ready, and if we're not filled up on the positive things, the affirmations, the declarations, that we have spoken over ourselves, if I'm not filled up with that, then I could allow the things of the world, the situations, circumstances, things that just come at you out of the clear blue. I could just allow that to ruin my entire day.
Wow.
So my focus in the morning is to really set aside that time, to really drink and to feel.
Yeah. So I mean that a lot of times folks will come with a hard answer or with a real complex situation. This is what you need to do. You need to do all these 18 steps in order to have this fulfillment or to have this clarity. But literally, what you're saying, and I'm gonna paraphrase for the people in the back of the room, right? Spend
Right.
some time with
Right.
yourself.
Yeah.
Spend some time getting centered, getting laser focused in terms of your mission, your clarity, what you're going to do throughout the day. Because
Yeah.
let's look at what's happening right now, right? Half the world is in turmoil and in a war situation, and we pray for everyone that's going through that, either indirectly or directly. And that can affect you as well, even though we may not be directly involved in it. Look, I wake up every single day right now in this past
Yeah.
week thinking about this, and that somehow affects me. But again,
Yeah.
I like what you say you do, right? Get up, know you've got tasks to take care of, right?
Yeah.
Know you've got action items on your to-do list. You got family, you got business, you got relationships, things of that nature. But first
Of
and
course.
foremost, Sylvia takes care of herself.
Yeah, and I'll just add this, Mr. Hicks, I'll add this, is that because we already know what is happening, what, the task and the assignments that we have
Mm,
during the day, the things that you have to do. If you have a 9 to 5, you already know that your 9 to 5 is going to be filled with questions, phone calls, conferences, meetings, stuff of that nature. You already know that. So one of the things, because I know the big picture, there are things that are thrown at us again. I don't know that. And that's
yeah.
one of the reasons why we fill up. But what I do know, I meditate on that, right? I want to have wisdom to make the best decisions in that area. I want to have
Okay.
clarity and understanding for that thing that I'm going to encounter. So if I know if it's a meeting, okay, I'm getting wisdom, I'm getting download for that thing. And I think that's one of the missing pieces when it comes to people preparing for the day.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. And it also sounds like you recognize what you can and you cannot control, right?
Absolutely.
What's in your wheelhouse, what's in your corner, what's in your to-do list. You're
Right.
not sitting in Biden's chair, right? So you can't handle the things at that macro level. Come on now. Let,
Right,
let, let me
right,
let me go ahead and put it out there like this. But you
right,
know
right,
you know what's in the design at pressandso.com's email list,
right.
and you know that you can focus on those types of things and get those accomplished. So I
Correct.
say all the time, staying in your lane and do what you can and handling your business. I say those adjectives, but you put those to practice and you put those to use. So hope folks got some value out of that statement right there.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So look, I see folks in the comments. Shouts out to everyone coming. I see some people coming from your community. Thank you for being here. I see Dion.
Thank you.
See Cassie coming as well. Mr. Hinkle, good to see you again. You were here yesterday, sir. Pay no attention to Steve Worthy. He's just heckling in the back of the room there. I'm gonna put a hit out on him, but that's all right though. No, I love it. Let me let me ask you this. I talked a little bit about the conflict that's happening right now on the planet from again, what's happening in Ukraine, but the planet and the world stopped for about 18 months, right? We were locked down, we were under quarantine. There was just a lot of things that we could not do everywhere, not just in Florida, not just in California. How I'm asking you both sides, from a personal and from a business perspective, did you, Sylvia Nixon, and how did you, Preston So, uh, work through that situation, and still working through that situation, right? Did it
Yeah.
cause you and your business to kind of change and pivot? Did you and Andrew have to make some different decisions? And talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so prior to the pandemic, we were working our business, and honestly, our business had gotten to the point where, it was not it was not sustaining itself at all. It was slower for us, and honestly, that was just the season that we were in. And so Andrew and I decided to go. We decided. Let me just. I'm gonna put a point there.
Mm,
We decided that we were going to go back to work in the corporate sector. I applied for jobs, Andrew applied for jobs, and it just did not pan out for us. So the beginning of what was it, 2020? The beginning of 2020, um, I went back into retail, and so funny, Andrew. Andrew got a job being a host at a restaurant, which is
go ahead.
totally outside of.
Go ahead, Andrew. Where he at? We need to put him on right now. We're gonna
Listen,
focus on Miss Sylvia right
I
now.
tell you, when you prior to the pandemic, we were desperate. We were at a very dry season,
Mm,
and I can openly talk about this because it was needed for us to go through so we can help other people.
okay.
And so, we were at a dry season, and we felt like we needed to make a move. Please hear me. We needed to make a move in our lives. And so we decided that we were going to make that move.
Yeah.
And we only could actually work for 5 weeks, because after the 5 weeks, that was the start of the pandemic, and they told us both, that we were furloughed.
Wow.
And so we're like, what is who is furlough, right? What
That's
is
like who
what
is
does that
FICA on
mean?
these taxes, right?
Come on, what does that mean for
Yeah.
our family? What does that mean for our finances? Because we had already you're coming out of a dry season,
Mm,
and we felt like, okay, we are just now, that those 5 weeks, they served us well. I mean, I dove right in back to retail in the Cosmo area,
yeah.
and I thought that was it. However, that was my decision. That was not God's decision for us.
I see where
And
you're going.
so
I see. Hold on. So see, folks. I want you. I hope you got your pen and a
I gotta
paper,
listen.
because Miss Nixon is dropping some knowledge on y'all right now. She has emphasized the we part a couple of times,
Yep.
trying to drill that in. But now she's talking about. Go ahead now. I want to make sure. I want to give people just time
Yeah.
enough to go get that paper and pen so they could write this stuff down. Lord.
Yes. So again, we made the decision to go back to corporate, corporate America. That didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, we have to get something. And we decided that we were going to get something, and we definitely um we just was like, whatever works. We're just desperate. And it really taught us during those 5 weeks that our lives are not to our this the decisions in our lives are
Okay.
not to be made solely on us and how we feel.
Wow.
We got to trust God.
I love that. I love that.
And so when we got furloughed, we're like, okay, what is next? And so Andrew said, Sylvia, we're going to put 100% in our business.
Okay.
And, of course, we prayed about it and we're like, okay, Lord, we're sorry for making this move without your direction. And right shortly after that, we started getting phone. I mean, literally, after we were both on the same page with just some surrendering and yielding our lives and where we were for that season over to God, then, doors started opening like never before. And
Mm.
we had been in business since 2018. So, we had never seen the increase in our business. And so for 2020, we worked very
To
hard.
say,
I
to
think
say the
20
least. You being humble right now,
now
you being modest, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you keep going.
we worked very hard. And 2020, the end of 2020, is when I actually met Mr. Hicks in the Ecamm community, Let's Get Live community. And a lot of people we, started connecting with. And I can say a lot of, the increase in our business came from more exposure within the community. And we are very, hi, Dana.
Good man,
I
right
love
there.
him. He is really good. And so, um, you know, it we give all credit to God. But it was at the beginning of the pandemic when it all changed for us. While people were freaking out about how they were going to eat, the bills were going to get paid. Our business was increasing, and we are grateful for that.
Thank you for going in the depth on that, because it really tells to not just your origin story, but your continued success story in a relatively short period of time, right? Again, since Preston So since 2018, and then really any blessing of the pandemic has been your business, right? Just some things that have happened for sure. But it's very interesting that you say, you were in the dire straits for 5 weeks. You were at some points where didn't know where you were going to go, what you
Right,
were going to eat, how you were going to put gas in the car. But
right,
you were trying to control all of that, and you were in your own way. You didn't
yeah,
surrender to a greater power. You didn't surrender to what you knew was probably best, as opposed to trying to
correct,
handle the situation yourself. Now, bringing that back to other folks from a business perspective, and then maybe from a personal development perspective, a lot of times we are the ones that are in our own way, stopping us from making those forward progressions and those
correct,
moves. So I'm really glad that you went into that. I want to bring up
yeah,
this question here before we go on to from Troy. He says, how has a pandemic really caused you to shift focus and to reevaluate what your priorities are? I know this season has brought a lot of loss to our family. However, God has remained faithful. Again,
yeah,
having that focus, having that wherewithal and knowethal to know that it's out of your control. And when you take
yeah,
yourself out of that captain's chair, I think I said that
yeah,
yesterday on Mr. Worthy's show, right? About being in the captain's chair versus the navigator's chair. When you take
yeah,
yourself out of that, blessings do come.
yeah. I would say, it's a very thin line between. I just got chills before I even said it. It's a very thin line between what we want and what God wants. And so, in before the pandemic, again, we were struggling. I mean, it was we loved what we did. We still got orders, but it was not sustainable, and we lost a lot. If I could just, I'm here now. Here you go. We lost a lot, and so because we were so desperate, we made that move. And so we see now that we should have waited on God to, you know, show us what was next, but we did not. We took it upon ourselves to put ourselves in that situation, and then found ourselves furloughed or without a job again. And so, even though God is, yes, our sustainer,
Mm.
provider, supplier, He is all that and some. We took that fine line And we just said, okay, we're going to trust what we think,
Yeah.
not trusting what he's saying. So I believe in my heart, again, that fine line, we have to make sure that we don't cross it. Right? We don't cross it and say, well, I know what I want to do, and I'm going to be in control of this. And
Mm.
so we learned a huge lesson in that.
So that kind of leads into a question, and you might have almost answered there. Kind of resources and the mindset, right? That's needed to succeed, right? When you're at those points, and I'm gonna use a Dana Lattery statement here, right? When coming out of the darkness into the light, huh?
Yeah.
I've heard Dana say that a couple of times. I'll send you a Venmo, brother. I'll pay you for that quote right there. I'm not gonna steal it from you. But so coming from the darkness into the light, and coming from those tough times of, again, the 2018 up to the 2020 and things of that nature, resources and that mindset, I think, is where I want to get into, that help you,
Yeah.
Andrew, and help your family overall succeed.
So there's two things that I want to share when it comes to the mindset and where we were for that.
Mm.
We were always determined that the season that we were in was only a season,
Okay.
always. And so we knew, even in times where I would, quietly freak out, you know, Andrew, and I would share with him. He said, Sylvia, it's not going to be like this forever. I
Mm.
tell you. And so, that's what makes
Come
seasons.
on now.
And
Yeah.
so, it was determination for us. And every day we would, and I shared this in my community, every day we would sing a song together every day. Um, and it said, I may not see it, but I know that it's working out for me.
So, say that.
Oh
Say
my
that. Say that
God.
one more time. Say that one more time.
I may not see it, but I know that it's working out for me.
Okay.
And we would sing that every day at some part of the day. I tell you, it's about to get me emotional, Mr. Hicks.
No, we don't play around right here. Come on now. We getting perspectives and focus, and we raising the level of conversation, right? But
Yeah.
again, this is the conversation that we need to have on this planet right now,
uh
right? March 1st,
so
2022. This is the conversation
come
we need to
on,
happen.
help me,
I'm
help
gonna
me,
let you take it
Lord.
as far as you want to go, but I like to dig. I like to dig.
Oh man. So just singing that every day
Mm.
in hopes that our faith would not fail.
Mm-hmm.
um we were just determined that we were going to come out of that place, that dark place that we were in. And because we had experienced so many, we felt like they were losses at that
Mm.
time. We felt like they were losses. And so because we had experienced that, we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going to happen, but we were determined that we don't see it right now, but we know that it's going to work out for us. So that was the meal that we ate every day. I may not see it, but I know it's working out for me. And the second part of that, the hook is getting ready to happen. And so, we knew, okay, at any point in time, things could change.
Yeah.
So we had to make sure we told ourselves, our body, our mind, that it's getting ready to happen.
Wow. Wow.
So that got us through together.
Us that have grown up in the church, we have always heard God works in mysterious ways, and
Yeah,
things will come and things will happen when we don't expect them because we are not in control. And
correct.
this testimony that we've heard just now from Ms. Nixon right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a testament to perseverance. I'm gonna say is a testament to, again, knowing when you need to put God first and put something other than greater than you first, right?
Correct.
When in those
Correct.
darkest hours and during those troubling and trying times. So thank you
Yeah.
again for sharing that testimony, because, and hopefully someone is getting some value out of that, right? Because again, that's true, it's relevant, it's meaningful, and you're living through it right now. No one's saying that you're at the mountaintop yet, right?
Of
Still,
course.
Monday
Oh,
could
you're
be a
right.
good day, Tuesday could be tough, but
Correct.
let me ask you about limiting factors. Limiting factors from a business perspective, limiting factors just from a personal perspective. Though, what do you think are the biggest limiting factors you see or can think of that prohibit more women from leading in business? Again, I'm kind of wanting
Yeah,
to stay around the women in
of
business and the
course.
women's society perspective, and I'm wondering if you have some insight on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can share my thoughts on it. And I think one of the greatest things is comparison.
Mm,
And because we see a lot, like our eyes were created so we could see. And so when the power to see is very effective, very important in our lives. And so we have to make sure, because there's power in our eyes, we want to make sure that we are looking at things through the right lenses. And I do believe that a lot of women, we size up other women, we size up other successes, and we compare ourselves, or we lust after other people and what they're doing. We then create a narrative in our minds to say, well, so and so is doing this. I had that thought that I wanted to do it. Maybe it's not, maybe it's not for me. But the question is, maybe it is, maybe it is for
wow.
you. But
Yeah.
because of the comparison, and because of we already make that, we already create the narrative in our minds and in our head and in our hearts. It gets to our heart. And once it gets to our heart, then it's over. And it's just not women. I think that people just compare themselves to each other all the time. But as far as women are concerned, I believe that we're strong, right?
Definitely.
We are
Definitely.
planners. We are, of course, organizers. We are nurturers. And so, because we are that, we have to make sure that our eyes and our lenses are seeing, the purpose for us,
Mm,
and not comparing ourselves to other people, because everybody has their own purpose. Granted,
true.
everybody has their own assignment.
Let me dive into that a little bit. So here we're gonna pivot a little bit. Here I come. Do you think that that's a cultural thing? Do you think that's a societal thing? Do you think that that's innate to individuals, men, women? That doesn't matter, right? Do you think that, again, that comparison, that you've got something, so I need to pull you a little bit further down the ladder, so I can get up there, or the statement that you're not winning unless you got haters. I say that too, but I don't. I wish I didn't have to say that, but it's true.
Yeah,
Again, do you think that's societal based, or do you think that's more just of a cultural thing,
I, I just
or
think
what?
it's just society, period.
Yeah.
Honestly, Mr. Hicks, I do. And when we are born, we don't come out and be like, I'm comparing myself to that baby.
There are no prejudices when you come out the womb, right? At day
Right,
one, we are not looking at the next person talking about, look at you.
right.
Yeah, we're not okay.
So, as we evolve, as
Yeah.
we get older, the teenage years, I think that's one of the top, the periods in our lives where it starts. You know what I mean? And so we look at somebody, we look at ourselves, and then we start to compare. And so then it kind of evolves from there. And we find ourselves in our 30s, we find ourselves in our 20s, we find ourselves in our 40s and our 50s, not accomplishing the things that we were called to do, not walking in our purpose, because we spent so much time looking at somebody else.
Wow.
And so this is why, one of the reasons why I'm so happy about you really moving forward in the mission of staying focused on you, because if not, then my focus, my eyes, remember, there's power in these eyes,
Mm-hmm.
just like it's power in the tongue. My eyes will now focus on somebody else and what they're doing. And so now my time is there, my energy is there, my thought process is there, instead of me really dialing in, digging in, and focusing in on what I'm called to do.
Wow.
So I just think it's just something that it just happens in our lives. And I do believe that we have to be, I'm sorry, I do believe that we have to be dialed in and really channeled into the right community.
Okay.
Because I
Okay.
tell you this, growing up in a small town called Ocala, there it was only limited. I only saw a little bit. My eyes only saw a little. It wasn't until I moved to New Jersey that I was able to see success. I
Mm.
was able to see growth. I was able to see successful people and hang around successful people. So now my mindset started to change, right? It wasn't that small mindset of, oh, I just have to do this, or I have to do what my family did,
Right.
or you know what I mean? Like, I got to keep that going. No, I'm going to do what I'm called to do. But it wasn't until I moved that I could see that portion in my life. And so I do believe that when you are channeled in, when you are connected to the right community, to positive people, to people that want to learn, people that want to stretch you, people that believe in you, people that's not jealous, people that's not comparing still, people that's not angry when you succeed, and stuff of that nature. The list can go on and on.
Yeah.
But when you're dialed in and channeled in and connected to the right people, you will see that there is no limit.
Man, I
There's no
love
limit
that.
to growth, and there's no limit to success.
I love that. I love that. Listen, folks, again, hopefully you went and got that pad of paper and that pen or pencil, something to write these notes down, because uh, Miss Nixon don't come, shooting these gems out at y'all for nothing, especially, it's East Coast. It's 7:30 over there on the East Coast right now.
Yes, it
So,
is.
it's dinner time right now. So I'm being cognizant of taking away from family. And that family thing right there, I was going to bring into that as well. Do you think, I know I talked about culture, I know I talked about demographic, society. I wonder if it's a issue that we have with the family unit as well, right? Are we missing something today in the family unit that we had back in when we were growing up, right? Folks that are 50, 40 years old, 60 years old, kind of grew up in a whole different mind space and a whole different type of dynamic. Are we missing now I'm talking about our youth, right? Are we missing something in the family unit of today that's causing folks to worry about their image, their brand, their likeness, their social media profiles, their followers, their influence, all of that stuff, as opposed to worrying about and thinking about and being concerned about the stuff that really matters?
Yeah, I do believe that is a gap that we have, just as a whole, because we evolve, and because the time changes. If your family is not evolving and changing as things change, I'm not talking about the love and the unity. I'm talking about the moving forward in what is happening and where we are as a society. If the family is not evolving, again, this is my opinion, America. If the family is not evolving in that, then it could be a holdup for
Wow.
the youth today. It could be a holdup for that teenager or that preteen, because okay, we are in the TikTok world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My daughter is 13, And so if I did not school myself in if I didn't dive into it to see what it is, I could literally hold it back, right? And I'm not saying that, okay, TikTok is everything, Instagram is everything, but I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
We as families, we have to evolve with what is happening
True.
around us.
Yeah, I love that. And so here's my bringing it back to again, women leading and women out front, kind of saying, like in this household right here at 4233 Wyman. I'm not going to give y'all the whole address because I don't want nobody coming over here. But
They're gonna come in your house.
yeah, don't come around here. Let me tell you something. Yeah, we got some things around. Don't do that. um, but me and my wife say this all the time. I may wear the pants, but she holds the belt. Right. So there's that 50. You can use that if you want to. Right. But
Right.
it's that teamwork. It's that family unit.
Yeah.
It's that sitting down every single night for dinner together. It's those traditions, it's those things that build up that strong foundation, especially for our kids to see mom and dad doing things together, to see us all doing things together and being involved. So
Yeah.
again, I can't do it alone. I know I can't. I'm crazy. And I tag Jen in all the time. She is my right hand. She is the yin to the yang and all that. And that really I think is I'm not saying it's missing from a lot of folks, but just staying locked in and focused on the
Yeah.
family unit, right? And staying
Yeah. And
focused
it's
in on doing that stuff together really matters.
yeah, and like I said, like it's we're you want a family to love, you want a family to have unity, you want a family to have togetherness. And I do believe that that is something that is missing,
Mm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Because people are not down, they're not focused on the family. But it's important to you know what I mean, like you got to talk about those things.
Yeah.
You have to want to know from your children
Yes.
what is happening in this world
Got to
and
stay
care about
involved.
it.
Yeah.
You gotta stay involved.
Listen now, folks. We telling y'all something that you need to hear, Brother Allen. We see you in the comments. Appreciate you for joining me, man. Yeah, we getting into it tonight. Really making sure folks are focused and locked in on what matters, and then understanding the value and the significance and the power of women. And I really, I'm locking in on that. Women out front. That's just not just because it's Women's History Month. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that in November too. Right. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, you mentioned the statement. You mentioned the word love, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about because you've actually got a new manuscript out. You've got a guided journal, and you got a planner, and it's called "Love Is the Answer."
yeah.
What's the motivation behind creating that particular uh, document?
Yeah. So I love creating, period. I love creating a lot. But most of all, I love, of course, writing and doing creating planners and journals just to help people, because people need a guide. We all need a guide. Um, so then that's a whole nother conversation, the guide conversation. But the reason why I created this is because, one of the things that was laid on my heart is the fact that love is missing from our world. And if we loved properly, if we loved the right way, then things could change. We could change. Marriages could be saved. Families could love better. Um, you know, Connections could be made.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it will drop comparison. It will drop jealousy. And a lot of times, I do believe the reason why we have the gaps in our lives is because of the lack of love.
I agree. I
And
agree.
so, I wanted to dive into just some love scriptures because in John 3:16 it said, for God so loved the world that
Mm-hmm.
he gave his one and only son. That's love.
Yes.
And I don't know anyone that will give themselves for their children like that, to die a horrible, horrifying death, as Jesus did. And that's my belief. So, I wanted to dig into what does it mean to love. Because Andrew and I were driving in the car one day. This before, it's probably like a week before I wrote this guide. We were driving in a car, and I asked him. I said, "Babe, I want to ask you a question. How do you know that you love me?
Okay.
How you how do you know that?" He was like, "Well, Sylvia, I do love you." I said, "I understand that, but how do you know that?" Love is an action, but most of all, according to the scripture, love is patient and love is kind, right? And so then I had to go back and just say to myself, am I patient with my husband?
Yeah.
Because if
Wow.
I'm not patient with him, is that because I don't understand what love is? It doesn't mean that I don't love him, but maybe I don't understand the power of love, you know. And so, my heart behind it was to make this guide for anyone that could just pick it up. It's a guide for your daily time, and it has morning meditation, evening meditation. It has scriptures that you could read. I call them love bites.
Mm-hmm.
But it just has those in there to help guide you through that day, so you can focus in on what love truly is. And I tell you, I've learned a lot from it. I've learned a lot that
You've learned a lot
you know
from writing this,
yeah,
or what? Mm.
from writing it and studying
Okay.
about love,
Okay.
just as to the extreme of me setting unfair expectations on people,
Oh, got
right?
you. Wow.
and
Okay.
and that causes us to not be patient, because if love is patient, then why am I not patient with people, right? I'm not saying that I'm not, because I am patient, y'all, but
Watch out
I
now.
had
Don't
to I like to
don't
I
get
like
yourself
to
in
I
trouble
like
up
to
here.
deep
Don't get
dive.
you.
I
Yeah.
like I like to deep dive into me,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I've learned, is that I gotta meditate on getting better,
Mm.
right? I have to meditate on growing as a person. And so that's one of the most important things that in this season right now, because we're still in it. In this season right now, I want to learn about love, and how love is large and incredibly patient. It's gentle, it's consistently kind. That means that it doesn't stop being kind.
Got you. Got you. Love that. And you. That's not. This isn't your first one, right? You've been out here in these streets a couple of times already, right? So yeah, y'all need to go ahead and Google Sylvia Nixon. Look her up on your Amazon Prime, or wherever as well. She's got a handful
Oh,
of documents out here to learn, love, and understand by. I have a link, and I will put it in the description to all of these guides and all of these journals that you've put together, because I mean, this stuff is incredible and it's timeless, right? A couple of them you wrote back a few years ago, but the date doesn't matter, right? Even though it was written in 2020 or 2018, it's still relevant today as well. Just the lessons, gratitude changes everything.
yeah,
Pray and plan, right? We can
yeah,
use this today. We can use this tomorrow for any and everything. So I will make
yeah.
sure that folks have the links to these here as well.
Awesome. Thank
Um,
you.
let me ask you this. Oh Lord, here we go. We got Miss
Hi,
Austin in the
Pastor
room. Yeah.
Felicia.
Oh, let me sit up right now. I got Austin and Nixon in the building. I better be acting. I better get on.
Hi, Pastor Felicia.
Yeah. So what's next, right? You have a lot going on, and that's a compliment, right? You've got a lot going on, from the fact that you're running family, you're running business, you're running just activities in and outside, personal and professional. But what sticks for you, Sylvia Nixon, and then what's next for Press and So, if you don't mind sharing, if there is anything.
Yes. So for me personally, I want to say this. I do believe that everything happens for a reason in our lives. And when you called me about the heart to really dive into being focused on you, it was also something that was a heartbeat for me for the season that I was getting ready to go into. And so this is where I am now. I'm focusing and staying focused on the purpose that has been planned for my life. And that is to encourage people, it is to motivate people, and to also continue to give resources. Just like the love, the guided journals, devotionals, that is my focus from that personal level because I love writing, but definitely focusing in and channeling in. And I tell you, just visual, I close my eyes because I can see it. I'm so focused that I know if I look to the left or I look to the right, I'm going to sink. And so, every day my prayer is that I would stay so focused and channeled into my purpose that I will see growth in my life. Quickly, and things start to take action in my life. And so that's where I am focused, not looking, not comparing, and a lot, and most of all staying quiet. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm not talking about, I have my friends, I hang out, but when I say staying quiet, that means that I'm not busying myself with noise, and I'm not busying myself with
Oh, wait a
food.
minute. Keep going. Come on now. You done stirred up. Ooh. See, we weren't gonna go into all this now. We weren't gonna go to church too much, but let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
I'm not.
I'm not letting you
I'm
go.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's where we are, America.
Mm-hmm.
We have spent so much time, and if I just could talk about my life personally, I spent a lot of time on just foolishness.
Mm.
And when you said focusing on, that was Pastor Felicia that said that yesterday, and I've heard you say before to Mr. Hicks, focusing on the main thing and keeping the main thing. That calls for action on our part.
Yeah.
It calls for us to do something. And that means that something that it calls for is for us to be so focused that I'm not going to let the noise around me catch me off guard, number one, because I'm
Wow.
already filled up from the beginning. And I'm not going to, because the world is so noisy, news, Facebook, Instagram, stuff of that nature. I'm not gonna get caught in the hype of all that. I mean it goes down to family.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
It goes down to family.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, just be, dialing in. And I've had to literally meditate on that for a very long time to say, okay, Sylvia, you cannot have FOMO.
Yes.
You don't have to keep up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have everything that everybody else has. Focus in, dial in, channel in on your assignment, your purpose, and stay focused. So I'm not looking over, all up in James' business. Of course, we work for him, but
Y'all,
right,
you
but
better change.
I'm
Hold
not
on. You better reword
right,
that because I need you
right, but I'm
in
not,
my
I'm
business.
not, I'm not all up in your business trying to keep up with the
Yeah.
drama that's going on in your life.
Yeah.
Because little do we know, that holds you back. It keeps you in bondage.
Mm.
This is the real talk right now. Like it keeps you in bondage, and so many people are chained up, bound up by the noise and by foolishness, by foolery, by gossip, by comparison, that we're missing great opportunities. We're
Mm.
missing godly connections that's going to take us to the next level. And so that's I if you I've thought about this a lot. I've
Hey,
meditated
go
on
ahead
this
on.
a lot. And so when I say that I have to quiet myself, I have to quiet myself to the point to say I'm at peace with where I am. I'm at peace with this season. Even if I know that I want more and I desire more, I'm at peace right here because I know that it's getting ready to happen,
I love
right? I
that. I
know that
love that.
I know that things are moving forward. I know that I'm doing my part to channel in and to dial in and to stay connected to the right people.
Yeah.
Stay in the, you know what I mean? Staying in a positive mindset. So I'm sorry that took so long, but
No, no.
um, that's just from a personal level. That's where I am.
Look, go ahead, keep
Our,
going. Yeah, because when the spirit moves, we make room. So go right ahead. When the spirit moves, we not on the time schedule.
man,
Look, Martell is in the comments right now. We say, hey, bro, if we have to move our show out a little bit later tonight, don't worry about it. You see where we at right now.
listen, right,
Yeah,
right. So,
yeah. Don't worry about it.
that's just where we are, and I
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like your mission for staying focused on you is so timely,
Mm.
y'all. It's timely. It's timely for everybody, and that's this is what we need to be reminded of daily. It needs to be in our face. You know what I mean? If you write it on a post-it note and put it in your car, write it in the bathroom so you can see it. Write it in your living room, in the kitchen. Stay focused. Underline you because you matter. You are important. And so, that this is a timely word for America. Focus.
Everybody in America, if you want to buy one, I'll cut the price down just a little bit. I give you the I give you the insider price. But all jokes aside, and I appreciate you saying that because this isn't just trying to be catchy. This isn't just trying to be something in the moment
It's
to get
real.
folks to buy shirts and to buy gear and to buy swag. No,
Right.
I mean there is meaning and there's method behind the madness. And I like I really like what you're saying about rising above the noise. Because again, I'm gonna be
Right.
selfish a little bit here, right? Again, to say that's the goal of what I'm trying to do with all of these conversations. They can be awkward conversations. They can be emotional conversations. We can go
Yeah.
from A to Z in terms of what we talk about. But if you're not locked in on what your purpose is, what your goal is, what your why is, whatever you want to call it, your own self, and you're trying to be like the person standing to the left of you or to the right of you, and just like you said, if you look to those directions, then you fall. If you stay
Yeah.
locked
Listen.
in, you stay locked in
Yeah.
on your goal ahead of you. You stay locked in on that guiding light. If you stay locked
Yeah.
in on what that end result is, you're gonna be
Yeah.
all right, and you will get there. It's gonna take a little bit of time. The
Absolutely.
process, right? Is the
It's a
process is the
process.
process, and you got to enjoy that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Don't wallow in the negativity of the process. Actually take notes down and show someone coming up after you what you went
Right.
through, right? And
Right.
and, and enjoy that piece. So I'm really glad that you went into a little bit of detail about that because that's where my mindset and that's kind of where also why I have meshed so much with you and Andrew in terms of my goal, my vision, my mission for these statements as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And can I just add this? Uh, it is we okay. Let me start here. When you look at the course of your life, you should know where you are. A lot of people they would consider themselves very lost in what they're doing, or they have connected themselves and said yes to so many things, and that's not your assignment, nor is it part of your purpose. And so, in your life, you should be able to say, in this season, this is what I'm focused in on. If a stranger walked up to you and said, "Hey, James, what do you focus on, man?" You should be able to clearly articulate that.
Mm,
And the reason why people cannot clearly articulate it is, in my opinion, is because we've said yes to so many things.
Wow.
And so our lives are like an octopus now, and because we've said yes to so many things. We have our hands in everything, and then
Yeah.
you don't see growth in your life. um
Come
our,
on
our
with that.
lives are supposed to our
Yeah.
lives are supposed to, yield fruit. We're supposed to see harvest and growth, even in times where you think this is the most hellish moment
Mm.
that I'm going through. It's still your season of growth. And we gotta dial back and look into our lives and say, what is the main thing that I should be focusing on? Is this part of my purpose? Is it part of my growth? Even down to the people that we are connected to,
Yeah.
right? Is this person a part of the growth for my life? Because if they're not, then they're going to be a delay. They're going to be a holdup in your life. I mean, I've thought about this. I've meditated on it. I've been hurt before, and so out of all that, I've had to clearly get to the place to say, okay, I have to be
Yeah.
I gotta be so focused on my purpose that I'm not gonna allow anything to take me in a direction that I'm not supposed to go in. And I have to be able to clearly articulate what is my focus in my life and be okay with letting things
Wow.
go.
I hear you. I hear where you're
And
going.
and
Yeah.
and one of I'll say this, and I'll be finished with the personal. One of the things the Lord has been speaking to my heart, and I've written it down a number of times. Every time I hear Him say it, I write it down,
Mm.
and that is you will have to be at peace, and you got to be okay with letting go of good in order to experience great and greater in your life. And we are comfortable with the good. We are, because it's good. It feels good, right? It smells good. We're comfortable with that. But you gotta get uncomfortable a little bit,
Yeah.
right? You gotta shake it up a little bit, so you can be stretched and catapulted into greater, right? Because that is a place that we need to live all the time.
Wow. Wow. Moment of silence for the mic drop right there, ladies and
Moment of
gentlemen. Because wow, that thank you for that. Right. Thank you for that. And that is necessary to hear that. And you have obviously the clarity, right? You've taken time to get to that point. Again, we're not. No one's perfect, right? You're shooting for 10. No one's at 10 yet. We're about eight and a
No.
half, seven and three quarters. But
Yeah.
again, you're on that right track, and you own the direction, and to be able to give that to someone, I know someone in the chat, someone watching later in the replay is getting some value from that. So appreciate you for stating that. Let me, if you're probably going to go into kind of from the business perspective as well, I do want to address this question right here and see if you can answer this from Troy Hinkle. Yes, can you tell a little about what you're going to do around Women's History Month, and specifically if there's some things from a Press and Soul perspective?
Yeah, so Andrew and I, we discussed this yesterday actually, and I was like, "Babe, we should focus on some of the women that we have as affiliates, and really highlight a lot of what they're doing, and put that on special too, put that on blast, because it's their ideas, you know what I mean? It's their creative minds, and so that's where we're going to be for our business, really highlighting those. We have Mary Lou, we have Samantha, we have Marga. I mean, it's Evie, healthy free life. I mean, we have a lot of women, and so we want to be able to highlight what they're doing and really put that at the forefront.
Love it. I love it. And yeah, so Troy, if you were asked, so there's the answer from Sylvia, and she's the most important. She's the star of the Tonight Show. But and in terms of you were asking me though, man, it's just really starting all tonight and highlighting women who are out there just winning,
Yeah.
that are out there leading women in front and just making sure that we pay respect and homage to the women in the world and in our lives. So yeah, thank you for that, Sylvia, as well.
Thank you.
I love it. Look, I don't want to get off the show because I just don't. But I know Andrew's probably in the back and he's probably burning something in the kitchen because he didn't. Lord have mercy, he did probably spilled something and
Uh,
smoke detectors and smoke alarms are gonna go off in a minute because he didn't burnt something in the oven. But so I want to make sure you get in there and save that man.
yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna save him.
go ahead. We pray for him. We pray for him. But at the end of the day, I want to do this. I need to give you these flowers, right? A lot of time you are involved in everybody. Looking at these affiliate partners on PrestonSo.com, you are involved with a lot of people who are in front of lights, cameras, and monitors and multi-streaming, doing things. It's not just content creators. It's also business owners and things of that nature. But you
Yeah.
are behind the scenes of a lot of folks, and I really want to take this time and just say that you are more than just an affiliate, more than just a partnership. You and Andrew really are family, right? At least so. I'm gonna be selfish, right? I really
Yeah.
consider y'all to be family in terms of the relationship that we've grown, even though we're 3,000 miles away, right? So
Yeah.
appreciate you for what you do as you
Thank you.
appreciate you for what you do as an organization, and then also
Thank
appreciate
you.
you the model that you and Andrew set. Because I can tell, when you guys used to get up early in the morning and have your lives and y'all be cutting up, right? Can tell that it's just a unit, right? You two are together,
Yeah.
tied at the hip, and there's nothing but love and it's genuine. It's not made up. It's not fake, and we just need more visibility of that. I think on this planet today,
Yeah.
tomorrow, and yesterday. So I just wanted to again say thank you for everything that
And
you
thank
are
you
and you
so
do.
much. It really means a lot. And when I received the email, I told Andrew, I was like, I'm so honored. This is so nice. And it's very different because when we work, it's he keeps us busy. Let me
Yes.
just add that.
Yeah. Come
He,
on.
he really keeps us busy.
I got
So,
spreadsheets and documents. And, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep you on your toes.
it really speaks to who you are as a person, just to say, hey, even though there's a business side of this, I believe in you and I believe in what you're doing. And so that in itself, it means so much. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Sylvia, be good to yourself. Folks, if you found anything out of this that touched you in a positive way, in a negative way, doesn't matter. Let us know, right? Because that's how we grow and that's how we get better. So feedback and criticism and all of that, we want to hear that. Sylvia has a group on Facebook as well. I'll put the link if you don't mind. I'll put that in the description as well so folks can reach out to you and have some meditative moments and some words of prayer, because I know you got a thriving group that actually reaches out and touches people's lives from that perspective as well. But share this with folks, people. I think you will be blessed if you do, right? If you advocate, oh, I'm not gonna let I'm not gonna let
Yeah.
the cat out the bag. But if you advocate for this good news and if you advocate for this good message with people in your sphere of influence, they're gonna be all right. All right.
Yes.
Sylvia, be good to yourself. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hicks.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.